just want my friends again, but don't mind me crying. I just want to live my life.
Why did I drop out of high school? Young, dumb, just immature, and I fell for a girl, and she convinced me to drop out of high school.
It wasn't of an addiction, for to say. Like I said, my friend passed, and then around the same time, COVID became a thing, and then all these problems. It was like a domino effect, and I ended up leading to doing bad things to my body, and ended up leading to self-harm and stuff, etc.
People fail in life because their parents fail to raise them.
Yeah, I'm not really sure actually. I fail a lot at life, but I guess it's because I procrastinate a lot.
There isn't a set goal in life, so how do you fail? You can make the most out of your life, sure, but you can't fail at something where there's no goal.
Only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can easily unsubscribe. Enjoy the video.
Why do you think people fail at life? Because they're trying to chase after money and trying to chase after things that are fake, instead of just keeping things simple. We are here to live and die and be happy and enjoy what we have. And they miss that because they go out and they get a job, which is nothing, there's nothing wrong with it. It works with society, but they go get a job, then they want something. And then they waste their money on going and getting an object and feeling happy for a very brief while. And then they say, oh, I need something else because I'm not feeling happy anymore. So they keep chasing after trying to be happy instead of realizing the less they have is the happier they are.
So the reason people fail at life is because they're depressed and they don't get the attention and support that they need, so they kill themselves.
Fail at life? What do you mean kill themselves? I'm in the army, alright? Been away from home for half a year. As soon as I get back home, I literally got back home Thursday, I meet with my unit. They tell me right after Christmas is over that I gotta go to Kuwait, the Middle East.
I wanted to get my GED. It's been so long, I haven't I don't know, man, I can't even do basic multiplication anymore. The highest I can go is 6 times 6, and it's 30, 36. It's been a while. I don't know, I have a learning disability anyways, so it doesn't matter. I have ADHD, and I also have Asperger's.
I would say...
It's when... You want to go first, or...?
Nah, you go ahead. Let the ladies go first.
Thank you.
I don't know the word in English, but something called volonté. If you want to win in something that you want to do, or you have to put will.
If you go traveling into third world countries, you'll meet people that are super happy just going down to a beach or going into a forest or going and swimming and doing things with nature and things that are just free and available. And they're super happy, but they're totally broke, and they feel as though that they need money to make them happy, but they're already happy. They have social connections, they have friends, they play sports, they do things that keep them entertained. Whereas a lot of people that are in big cities and in first world countries like the States, they chase after stuff that they feel is going to make them happy, but all it is an illusion. When your time is probably the most important thing. It's not money, it's not stuff, it's none of that, it's time. And once you have enough time, you'll figure out that you can be happy without all that stuff and all that crap. But you have to have some sort of intelligence to realize that.
I personally think I'm failing, honestly. If I were to use my own concepts of failing and succeeding, I would say I'm failing, because I don't take my own advice even though I should. Even though I say I'm failing, I'm slowly succeeding. Everyone is.
I will say I'm succeeding, because I've got a good job, I get a good income. I'm thinking about buying myself a house soon maybe, so I'm living a good life, I'm working in the underground mine. I'm from Canada.
If you consider yourself a failure, then you're only a failure to yourself. Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about. I was not ready for this kind of question.
That's the sort of thought process that leads to people ending themselves because they think they're complete at mid-20s. It's terrifying truth.
Things like that is all about perspective. One person could say another person is failing based on what they think is success. So there's no real success or failure in life. It's whatever the you want to do.
Failure is only if you absolutely kind of give up on yourself, you know what I'm saying? Without any real...
It kind of depends on how much you care. Success depends on what you give a about.
Because they try too hard. That's why they fail.
They try to be something they aren't, try to be
Yes.
what other people want them to be.
I think they fail at life, so they give up too early.
But before I go to Kuwait, I gotta go train in Texas to go overseas. That literally just came up, and I really just want to be home. Like,
That's why the government and the system wants you to be dumb so that you just go along with what they want. You run on that treadmill until you're dead, and then the next one that you've bred, which would be your children, they're going to be just as dumb because they never got taught anything outside of that box, and they continue the little rat race that they all love to do. I need the Ferrari, I need the mansion. Okay, now I've spent my life, I'm dead.
If I had to describe myself a year ago versus now, I would tell myself a year ago that you'll find someone, you'll love them, they'll make you happy. This may sound quite dark, but I'm currently nearly a year sober on something that I've been doing, that I did last year. So in a way I'm succeeding, slowly, but everyone's on a different hill to success. Whether that's steep, whether that's slanted, whether that's bumpy, it's all a different hill for everyone.
People they surround themselves in, you know, how they grew up. The better the environment, the easier it is definitely to be successful, but at the same time, people give up way too easily, realizing that they have potential.
I fail at life no matter what I do. Oh, I've seen my parents, but I hate my parents. I miss people. I miss seeing people face to face. I can't even see them. It's been so long. All I have is VR chat. Just want to see them again. I miss my friends.
Maybe trauma, anxiety, stuff that's happened in their life, family issues, friends, breakups, relationships, depression. Ow, that one. Anyway.
Because they accept that failure as a possibility. There's no real way to approach life, so there's no way to fail at it. Do I have a lemon? Probably somewhere around the back. You want to go check?
It's your life, right? Why throw it away trying too hard? You know, you live once. Don't go to work and put 100% effort in because it's wasting your time because you're going to die in the end anyway. Cruise through life and then retire.
There's a huge mental health aspect, I think. I mean, I suffer from a lot of mental health. Being happy and being happy with you, who you are, and respecting other people, but also not letting them take you down to levels where you don't respect yourself, and getting those people out of your life and keeping the people that support you so you can support them back, and just being happy with who you are and what you have in your life.
If I am alive, I am succeeding. I don't see me losing by being alive because I've been given one chance to live. Might as well live it to the fullest extent.
I'm currently, I can tell you the exact date on how long I've been sober for. Actually, I've got an app. 11 months, 9 days, 19 hours, 29 minutes and 15 seconds. It's on an app. It's called Sober.
Instead of saying, hey, you know what, maybe I can make a good connection with Kermit the Frog here and have a conversation and have a good laugh and find out that maybe we have some things in common, and we have a simple conversation like this that makes everybody happy, and we've spent time for free. I mean, obviously we've got the VR mask or the computer or whatever in front of us to be able to do this, but you gotta choose the lesser evil, I guess.
Somebody would maybe want to climb like a corporate ladder or whatever, become a high-ranking person in a corporation so they can be all mighty, right? That would actually be failure to me because I feel like that'd be a waste of my life. But that's something that's typically defined as success because that's what the economy wants and that's what makes other people rich.
I want to figure out like how deep I want to go on this question because he already like brought up a good topic. Definitely being a product of your environment is pretty important. I mean, some people can like overcome that stuff, right? But I would say like a good amount of people, like depending on your upbringing, your how financially stable your family is, and like all that stuff, if you're able to go to college, that like really does make a difference in your life, like off the bat.
Success for me is making sure you're happy, you're healthy, and you're in a good environment, and just doing something you love that isn't illegal and you're passionate about, I think. And that's when you know you've had success because you know you're happy doing what you do.
From my point of view, when people fail at life is when people quit.
Because they're human and people have emotions.
I started uni in 2019 and I didn't even have half a year to get used to that before the whole work got shut down, and now I'm just alone, living alone completely.
I lived in a trailer for 2 years before I bought my house. I went through a separation and I had 2 kids, and I just left everything. I went into a small 14-foot trailer and I lived in there for 2 years, and I had so much fun doing that. It was really simple. Go into a gym. If I need to have showers and stuff, it's cheap. It's cheaper than paying rent. It's cheaper than paying bills. It's cheaper than all that, because on the same side of things, you get to sleep where you want too. So if you're at work, you could stay there and you could disconnect the trailer, go down to the gym, which might be kind of close because there's gyms all around cities. All the money you save from work, you'd be surprised how fast you can save it. Within 2 years, I saved $80,000. I put it down on a house, and my ex was going, "What the heck? Why didn't you do that when you were with me so I could walk away with all this?"
It's different for everyone, so I'll give two advice. Either seek for help, seek for ways you can fulfill yourself and make yourself happy, do the things that you love the most. Or a way I did it is I made a promise. If you make a promise to someone that you love dearly and you make a promise, I made a promise to my best friend. I remembered it was like 2 years ago I made the promise. And I promised that in no way, shape or form I would let her down, and then I took that promise and I bent it in a way that it would, the more you love them, the more the promise carries on.
I want to cry now.
Oh no, don't cry!
If you quit it, then it's like a lose-lose situation. Like, if you quit it, you're gonna get a dishonorable discharge, and you're not gonna be able to get a job anywhere.
It really depends on the person. If like someone's gonna succeed, they're gonna like push really hard. I think it like comes down to motivation too at the same time.
Because the thing is, like, you can take two people raised by a gangster. One of them will probably stay in the gangster life, you know, and the other one's gonna learn from that and just try to rise up above that, you know, because he doesn't want to stay in this and want to actually be better, you know.
Depression, anxiety, OCD, ADD, and ADHD. As much as that's going to try to bring you down, you're always going to live who you are, and you can't really change that for the most part. So just accept yourself, just be who you are and be proud of that, and don't like let yourself be surrounded by people that aren't going to support you. Only people that will support you and keep them around.
I can't cry because I'm literally incapable. This is the sad thing about me. I just can't. If we're going in deep, you already got me started. If we're going in deep, like, there's one thing that I hate. One thing that I hate about myself is that I cannot cry. 2 years ago, my favorite dog, her name is Annie, and she was getting old, and it was that time her legs were giving out. She was pissing and everywhere. And when everyone was gathered around, because we were gonna cremate her, we were gonna put her in a little box, a little nice box, and everyone started crying. I was the only one that couldn't. I just wish I could, but I just can't. Like, I was really attached to that dog. That was my favorite dog.
I'm thinking to myself, well, when we were together, you showed me one simple thing, that you don't care to be there until the end, and you wouldn't be there when I'm sick. You'd want to move on because I would be a headache at that point. You wouldn't be able to handle having a headache in your life and trying to work around it to stay happy and keep what you love happy. It's a simple thing. You just have to be in the right place. If you're not married, you're single, you don't have kids, the sky's the limit. You don't have all that emotional connection and tie downs.
Well, that depends. What do you mean by fail? If you have a bunch of people, always telling you, hey, you got to do this, you got to aim for this, you got to, do all these things, and you don't reach those heights that they want you to reach, and then you feel like a failure. My mother wanted me to be a doctor. Well, I don't want to be a doctor, but I still have that constant push, like, hey, be a doctor, hey, be a doctor. You don't have to do, if there's people like important to you that are close to you, and they keep pushing you to do something you don't want to do, it's okay to say no and to do your own thing. Like, figure out yourself. Don't try and make your life based on someone else's interests. Make it on your interests, and you're gonna have a lot happier life that way.
I'd say I'm succeeding just because I've kind of, this whole lockdown thing, I've kind of gotten accustomed to it, and I've kind of adapted to it well, so I'm not suffering.
People fail at life because they crumble under small accomplishments, and then they don't try to endure life's challenges and give up instead.
Yeah. Okay, so you said vanity. Well, vanity's like an infection that just doesn't stop. I mean, you see it everywhere, and that's a perfect example right there. We've been given mirrors, and you watch 80% of the people that you ever come into a room with are standing all in front of a mirror. And I'm wondering, like, really, this is really strange that people are drawn to the mirror to look at what they want to say is themselves, instead of just running around and exploring a new environment and thinking, well, this is kind of cool. Hey, let's enjoy the environment, walk around, or whatever. I guess maybe they're just bored bored of the environment and they go and stand in front of the mirror because people are just drawn to be lazy.
You know, society just likes to throw over guys' head is that they shouldn't be, you know, they should man up. They shouldn't cry. They shouldn't get over stuff. Well, when you're a teenage boy and you're going through all this stuff, especially with like your body and everyone that's around you, everyone that you love, it's kind of hard to, you know, just stay tough. We're just men or boys that just have emotions and we would like to express them, but can't show that because, again, you're right. It shows a sign of weakness. That's how it's always been. And I think that's very pitiful.
I don't know. That's kind of what makes this world go around in a way, is everybody trying to figure out how to be as lazy as possible. This is a perfect example. We've got these masks on and we're probably sitting down in a chair instead of standing up in the room. I mean, I go to work. Sometimes I work for 12 hours and then I come home and I put this thing on and I'm thinking, holy crap, this is so amazing. All the options I have. I get into a ring and I start boxing people and I get an awesome workout from that, or I go into Population 1 and I'm flying through the air shooting. I mean, there's a lot of options to keep you entertained, and then you see like 80% of the people just sitting in front of a mirror going, oh.
That is a
There's no
unique
such thing
question.
I don't think there's such thing as failure exactly. Depends how people perceive it. But I personally think you only really fail if you don't live the best life you can.
If I do something terrible to myself and end it short, I feel like I fail and disappoint myself. Success comes from effort and luck together. There is no finite answer to what succeeding means. It's just being endurant and putting in the effort.
Yeah.
It's when I personally think is when you come to an agreement with yourself. Not as in like you agree on what you want to eat that day. More of a you learn to accept yourself and you learn to focus on yourself more. That's the best success you can get. Don't need money, don't need fame to be happy. You just need to love yourself.
I don't really think there is a such thing as failing. The guy on your right goes to university and does some terribly difficult degree and say he, I don't know, becomes a pharmacist or whatever, you know, has a nice house, has a family, whatever. And then there's the guy on your left who goes through his life and then at the age of like 10 gets hit by a car and dies. And I think when you see that, it's like, okay, you can kind of like you can look at that success and you say, well, my success is very fragile.
Some people may think you're a failure in terms of like, let's say school grades or something, but just because you do bad at one thing doesn't mean you can't do something else.
Do I think people fail at life? I would say a mixture between procrastination and that lack of commitment.
When you play it safe and it goes wrong, you don't know what else to do, so they give up. Right now I'm in a blind spot. I'm not really succeeding or failing. I'm not financially stable enough to move out on my own, so I'm still with my parents right now.
That idea of success only exists when you're alive. When you're dead, obviously it doesn't exist at all. Think of myself as a nihilist. Not in the way that, oh, it's meaningless to do anything, but in the way that like you have to like find your own meaning in things.
I'm succeeding, I'd say. I think as long as you're happy and you can support your offspring and be a good person morally, I'd say that is success.
Maybe they've had something traumatic happen, them ending up going down in life.
What I think it is sort of like reaching your life goals. That's what I think, at least, is that when you want to achieve what you want to achieve.
And so in that way, it's like you could be this guy who's happy that's his whole life and doesn't succeed per se to our standards. I'm doing a chem degree right now and I'm doing I'm doing fine. Every second of it kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. But it's like I look at myself and at the end of the day I'm like, oh yeah, I'm succeeding. But then I take a step back and I look at people that I worked with over the summer. Like I tree planted over the summer, and you know, it's funny because I don't really look up to the people who just study all day and fuel their egos. But then I look at people like the greasers and the grease balls. They go tree planting and push their bodies to the fullest and go out and have fun, and they live a more mediocre lifestyle, and that's totally fine. I think that's success to me.